You're listening to Homeschool Unrefined. I'm Maren.
And I'm Angela. Let's encourage each other, laugh, and get real about homeschool. Welcome to the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun. You've got episode 79, Summer Mode, the state of our cars.
Hello to all of our lovely listeners. We are so thankful for you. We love hearing from you. Thanks for sticking with us for so long. And if you're new, thanks for joining. We are so glad you're here. And we love the little community that we're making here. We just appreciate it so much. We are going to be here all summer.
Yeah.
We've got episodes lined up. So we're really excited about that. We're going to be taking just a 2-week break in the middle of July, I think. But we are going to be picking some of our favorite episodes to play again during that time. So you will not miss a week.
Right.
You don't need to miss a week. And we also just want to thank our Patreon supporters. Those supporters are growing, and we are so thankful you are there. You're helping us make this podcast today.
Yep. And if you are interested in that, you can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Angela, how is your summer going?
Great.
Yeah.
So far. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing a lot of carting kids around.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you?
Yes. A lot of carting kids around for sure. And yeah, I think that's what the summer is kind of about.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
The theme.
Yeah. It's really taking a toll on my minivan, though.
Yes.
I feel like I need to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
How's your minivan doing?
Well, not good.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Good.
we just came back from another trip to northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
And now that we have a dog too in our minivan,
Yeah.
we have so interesting. We just went to pick up your son.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
To come and play, and he came into our car and he's like, wow, you have a lot of dog food in your car. And it's true, we do have a lot of dog food in our car because it spilled on our trip.
Oh yeah.
And nobody's cleaned it up yet.
Yeah.
So
We've been waiting to do a deep clean where
Yeah.
like the kids all get out. You know, it's really important to Jeremy that, you know, the kids participate in cleaning and we like make a day of it,
yeah.
which I agree. That's really important. The problem is it never happens because we just,
Yes.
I don't have the time when everybody's all together and we can devote to just the whole family cleaning it out. So it just keeps
Right.
getting dirtier and dirtier.
So funny because Sean is it's so funny. Our husbands are a lot alike, and yet in these kind of instances, Sean feels really strongly that we need to opt out of that kind of stuff and like hire somebody, go to a car wash and get that done, so
Right.
we can focus on other things. But I think I would actually prefer to make it a family thing too. But so we used to have a car wash that we'd go to, and they would do all this like deep vacuuming and all this stuff, and then there are now new owners.
Oh.
And Sean was like, he's like, I can't even go there. We went there once after the new owners came, and he's like, they're not doing a good job. We're on our own now. We have to do this on our own. Yeah.
He's got high standards.
Oh yes.
Yeah. See,
For
Jeremy does that for his own car. He'll take his own car in to get it like all cleaned out. So his car looks nice. And then my car like gets dirtier and dirtier. And he thinks our whole family should do that.
Well, I mean, ideally, I think you're right. It's true. It's a better experience to clean everything up yourself. It's true.
Oh, yeah. My kids I think this is like, I always said I'd be that parent who was not going to let my kids bring food in the car.
Yeah.
Before I had kids.
Yeah.
And obviously that hasn't worked out. But I imagined it would be like the toddler age kids or the preschool age who would be like trashing your car.
The
and
messiest.
that is not the way it is. My kids' age now are the messiest. They will bring in a plate of food.
A plate. Oh my god.
Plates. Lots of plates get brought into it because we usually leave
Oh.
in the morning and they're like, well, I didn't, I just made my breakfast and I didn't get a chance to eat it. And they bring the whole plate in. And I don't even
what's on
notice.
the plate? What I'm interested in. What?
Leftovers.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they don't finish them.
Yeah,
By
and
the
then
time
they
and then they sit
Darn.
there. Or they spill. Or like somebody makes a giant smoothie and it knocks over and then it slowly drips.
Oh my goodness.
I
know how I feel about smoothies in the car.
I
I don't know if I could do that. And then also if my kids want to bring food, it has to be in like a container that's a square. Like a square container. Or, that
Like
has maybe even has a lid maybe.
Yeah, not a plate.
Right. I don't know if I could handle a plate
I know.
in the car. But
I know.
I mean,
I feel I really want them to eat something healthy before we go somewhere. And so when they're like, Mom, I just made this big plate of food and now we have to leave. And I think, it's either let them bring the plate in the car or
they're not going to eat it.
They're not going to eat it and the food's going to go to waste. So I have this moral dilemma. But anyway, it's getting bad. It needed a good clean out like 5 or 6 months ago, and it's just.
Don't you feel like I feel like every day there's something like that where I'm like, we got to add this to our chores. We got to add this to our chores list.
Oh, yeah.
But there are so many things.
There's so many things. And the kids, they don't do a great job cleaning out the car.
Yes,
So like
true.
I can ask them to clean it out and they'll go pick up a few pieces of trash. But it's not getting the deep clean that I need.
No.
So
Agreed. Totally. But I mean, I feel like we could be cleaning all week. Everybody could be cleaning all week.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to move on to our main topic, which in this summer mode series is we're going to do a few things. We're going to talk about what's going well, what needs tweaking. We're going to have a little self-care check-in, which I am both excited and nervous to do every week.
Right.
And then we're going to sometimes have a listener question.
Right.
All right. So let's start out with what's going well, Angela. What's going well for you this week?
Well, okay. So we've talked about screen time. We've talked about
My goodness.
we had no whole episode on it. Probably a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said in that episode and maybe a couple after that, we didn't have a great screen time plan.
Right.
Because the kids were getting like, I don't even remember what we used to do. It was like, was it tied to reading? I don't remember what it was tied to.
I don't even
Anyway,
know.
this was so long ago, 2 months ago. I cannot remember. But anyway, whatever it was not working for me. And so then, shortly after that, I just got rid of, we've had a couple different changes since then. We've tried out a couple different things.
Sure.
So now we're trying out this new plan, and I think this might be the plan that is going to stick.
Good.
It's going really well.
I
wanted
wait
to share.
hear.
I know.
Yeah.
But I also there's the caveat of like, this might change in a month or two.
Right.
But for right now, this is going really well.
This week it's going well.
This week it's going well, and I'm not managing it, which is awesome. So
yeah,
what we decided to do was our kids are not the same. We have 3 different kids, and they have different needs.
Right.
And I think we realized we have to make different plans for each of them, which we thought was going to be hard, but then it turned out to be not that hard.
Great.
So our girls are reading for screen time.
Good.
So, and it's 1-to-1. So if they read 15 minutes, they get 15 minutes of screen time. And because they're old enough, they're 13 and 11, they have their own chart that's just on the wall, and they like mark when they have 15 minutes, and they mark when they've done the screen time. So it's just easy. They can keep track of it. Yes. I can look at it every once in a while if I'm interested, but mostly I trust them, and they can keep this up themselves. And I feel kind of good about it because I'm like, well, at least they're reading for however much screen time they get.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I'm not counting like if they want to text a friend or take a picture or something like that. I'm not counting all that stuff. So they can do that kind of as much as they want to.
Right. Yep.
I'm also not counting like family movies or things like that. This is just their own, like doing their own thing on an app or something. That's what I'm counting. Sure. Okay, and then my son, he needs something different, and he was really on board with this too. He gets a little bit obsessive if he could like read for screen time or do something for screen time, because then he does it he wants to do it more and more. It kind of consumes his whole day then. That's what he's thinking about. And so he really did not want that plan at all.
Yeah.
So what we decided for him is he's only doing screens on the weekends. He gets to do an hour on Saturdays, an hour on Sunday, and then he just doesn't get to do it during the week. And it's not tied to anything. It's just, and he actually kind of came up with that with us.
Wow.
Yeah, he thought he knows it's too much for him.
Yeah.
And so I was just really happy that I don't know, that he was part of that and he's okay with it. So during the week now, his sisters are using the screens and he doesn't get to.
Yeah.
And he's okay with that.
That is really, I feel like you've reached peak
Well,
peak parenting there.
okay.
That is
Okay.
amazing that he is like not just okay with it, but like he helped come up
He
with
suggested it because actually
So great.
we were ready to go back to the reading for screen time with him.
that. Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. He
I
knows it's too much.
Do not want to do that
handle.
because then that's too much for me.
Yeah.
And so, the only downside is I haven't quite figured out how to encourage him to read.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to tweak. But,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
but
Always.
I feel good about this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel good about this for you. I'm
Oh,
so
thanks.
excited.
Thanks.
So
I think the
great.
key was just realizing there isn't going to be a one size for all my kids.
No.
So it's not going to work for the same
Yep,
for all of them. And I got to differentiate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even when you have like this philosophy, your own philosophy on screen time or reading or whatever, your kids have these other plans or ideas or needs or
Right.
personalities.
Yep.
And it might not work for them. Like your philosophy might be like, well, whatever. You might say, I don't want any screen time ever. That's my
Yep.
philosophy. It's never
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then you have these kids who are like really convincing you otherwise
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, there's a way we have to work this out somehow.
Right. You always have to adjust.
Always have to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Thanks.
Way to
What's
go.
going well for you, Maren?
Well, so it's kind of along the same lines, but I was just going to say our rhythm because I know we talked last week about rhythm and just getting into that groove. And I know it was hard for me at first. I'm sure I voxed you several times at the beginning of the summer and just telling you, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we had put this reading plan in place too, where it was, it was very similar to your older girls where everybody reads for screen time.
Yep.
And then we had these other bigger prizes, for however many pages you read or whatever. And so I was excited about that at first. And yet I think I was just overwhelmed by this whole system that I had just put in place in my house. And I was like, I'm not really into systems. I'm not really into systems. So why am I doing this? And yet I felt like we needed a little more structure in this area. So I think I was just in some angst, but right now I feel like it's going well for us.
Good.
Yeah. And we have had to tweak it for each kid. My oldest daughter is not interesting. It's interesting. You were saying, your 13-year-old and 11-year-old are great at writing things down. My 11-year-old is not into, it's just not her thing to write stuff down, record everything that she reads and pages. That just kills her excitement or any kind of happiness for reading whatsoever. So,
Yeah, my kids aren't doing that.
they're not doing that.
They're just doing a slash where if they
yeah.
get 15 minutes, it's just like a slash.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's easier, probably
It's easier. Yeah.
So, she's just reading and she just keeps mental
Good.
tabs or whatever. So, and a lot of this is on the honor system. I
Yeah.
have noticed I have one kid who is probably fudging her results a little bit. And yet I feel like it's not for me. I don't think in those situations, the issue isn't that I have to talk to this child about, what she's doing wrong here. It's a little, I think that's just a little wake up call to me that I probably need to tweak something for her.
Yeah.
Because it's too much somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever. So I'm going to deal with that. But, and then my youngest is she's just reading 5 books, I think. And then she kind of came up with this on her own too. She's, because she can't sit and read for a whole lot long, amount of time or whatever by herself. She's not really an independent reader.
Yep.
She's not an independent reader. She could do it, but it'd be so much work. So I can read to her. She can pick audiobooks or she can read 5 books just on her own. And then she gets to have some screen time. But
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and so and like for her, like time is just not I think when you have kids who are like they're not there like logistically,
Mm-hmm.
they can't think of, oh, I just read for 30 minutes, now I get 30 minutes of screen time. My 7-year-old is just like not there.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, so I'm getting this idea that you want me to read, and then I get screen time, and that's like
Yeah.
the most she can think of.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah. So so it took a couple weeks for us to really find our groove there.
Okay.
But I think we're there. I think it's working out.
Good.
And it even worked out when we were up north in northern Minnesota for the last 2 weekends, and it was so nice because on vacation I feel like we go to grandparents' house, and if there's cousins around or whatever, it's like screen time. It's like a free for all kind of sometimes. And I just felt like, oh, we can just do this at the cabin too, at my parents' cabin. And so we just did. Everybody still had to read.
Oh.
Or like in the car too. It's like you don't just because we're in the car doesn't mean you get screen time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. That's great.
So it was, I just felt like such a sense of relief that I don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, this is just too much screen time. I can't take this anymore. And now I have to pull back. It's just all set. It's all set up.
Yeah.
I love
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, our next category is to talk about what needs tweaking. And I just have to say, my thing that needs tweaking is our summer reading program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I just told you that the screen thing was kind of working out well.
Right.
My kids were, so I unveiled our summer reading program, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, my older girls were going to get prizes for the number of pages they read.
Sure.
And I thought the prizes were really great. Like going to Chipotle or going to get ice cream or something.
Yeah.
Or getting to choose the family movie, because, that's
So
always an
great.
issue.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And my son's was like this kind of a bingo card looking thing where, if he read certain books about certain, like with certain subjects, then he would get to cross them off. Every 5, he would get a prize. And so that was exciting for about 2 days. And only for my son.
Yeah.
He did it right away. He got 5 and he got a prize. And we went bowling. And now he's not interested anymore.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work. It's a lot of output.
For bowling.
For bowling, which was like probably the one prize he wasn't really that interested in. He was hoping to get ice cream or Chipotle. I mean, he had fun bowling.
Because you don't get to pick what your prize is.
No, you just pick it out of the hat.
You never know what you're going to get.
I know. So, I mean, once we went bowling and they had a lot of fun, he was excited. And we just talked it up. Oh, this is your prize. What a great job. We're celebrating you,
Yes.
But anyway, so he's not really into it anymore. And then my oldest daughter, she's 13. She's always been a reader. Always.
Yeah.
And this year, some things changed, and I'm really sad about it. I think a couple things happened. She's always been into audiobooks, and she's still into audiobooks, but she's also now into podcasts.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot of podcasts that she needs to listen to.
Yeah.
And that takes up a lot of her time.
For sure. I get it.
I'm like, I know.
I get it.
I know. And I'm probably, I have the same problem. So I get it.
Right.
But then also she was in this class this year, this online class through the Center for Lit, where she had to read certain books, 1 book a month.
Okay.
And they were very challenging books.
Oh, yeah.
And she wanted to be in the class. She wanted a challenge. She wanted to be in the class. But it was like 10 months, 10 months. So it was like 1 book each month. And they were long, hard books. And so she had to read these books one a month. And I think she was too spent to like read for fun because she had to read these.
Yeah.
And I think it did some damage.
Did it?
I know. And so it was just a good, it's a good lesson for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
In requiring reading for my kids, requiring certain books that I don't want to kill that love.
You know what? It's so tough though because she probably seemed ready for it. Like, she'd been reading a lot. So
I know. And she was like, Mom, I really want a challenge. So
yep.
I'd like to do this.
Yep.
But I think each book was just not interesting to her. It was just not her genre.
Yeah.
And
shoot.
I know. So she just hasn't really gotten back into it.
Yeah.
And she is.
Could you make a list of other books that that she would love?
She's got all the books she would love. She
does. Yeah.
Yep. And she's got this friend. They're, great friends. And they talk about reading, which is just the best.
Dream come true.
And so her friend has been like, you have to read these books. She's been saying it all year. And my daughter's like, I know, as soon as I'm done with this class. Oh, I have to, And so now I think she's got stacks of books that she really wants to read. And she's started a little bit, but she just hasn't gotten into the swing of it again.
Right,
which I understand because I've gone through those droughts where I just don't feel like reading. So I get that. And so I don't want to be alarmist about this.
Exactly.
But I also want to encourage it as much as possible. So I'm trying to figure out what to do to get her to want to read.
Oh,
yeah. And then my middle daughter is she's reading.
Good.
Pretty much. So she's doing the reading program. So that's good.
Great,
but my other two are just kind of not doing them.
Not into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my oldest isn't really into the reading program part of it. The part of where it's like read this many pages and you get prizes.
Get a prize.
No, she's not doing that. She's just not doing that. Which
maybe
is
they're
okay.
just past prizes. Maybe I need to. Maybe they're just too old for prizes. So it's not motivating.
I don't know. I feel like if the prizes are right, then it'd be worth it. But because I have a couple kids who are super into those prizes. They're thinking about it a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I need to make it more attainable. Easier to get the prize.
That's one thing, I think.
Yeah.
And I did actually did have to tweak for one of my 9-year-olds the number of pages that he had to read because, he was like, he came, just came to me and he's like, I'm never going to get this done ever.
Aww.
And my twin is like, whipping through everything. And he's like, this is so hard for me. So we had to change it for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So if anybody out there has a similar situation and has any ideas for me, how to encourage my daughter to get back into reading, that would be awesome. Now it's tied to screen time, like I said. Mm-hmm. So she is doing it, but I think she's just doing it barely to get the screen time. And then
right.
She's not really loving it. So I feel bad. I know, but it's probably fine. It's probably just the way it is.
Well, and it might be the season. You're right. She's really into these podcasts and that's her thing right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of valuable things in podcasts too.
Oh yeah, I know.
So many good things. So
totally.
It's not a total loss.
Oh, I know.
And she has, the great thing is you've seen her do a lot of reading in the past. So she has the skills and the patience and the focus to do it.
Yep.
She can do it.
Right.
So that's good. It's you don't have to worry about oh my goodness, will my kid ever become a reader?
Right.
Well, she can. She can become a real
she is a reader. She's a reader. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Maren, what needs tweaking for you?
For me, I think what I need to work on the most this week is taking care of myself and making time for my own reading. Because that has not happened really since the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I think what is happening is because everybody's going to bed late, because the sun's going down super late, everybody goes to bed later. I feel like I need to stay up later because I need some time by myself.
Yep.
And then I get up later than I have during the school year.
Yeah.
And that's usually my reading time. That, I slept through my reading time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to find a different plan.
Find a new time.
Yeah.
Can you don't want to do it at night?
I don't think I can read at night.
It's too tiring. Too much work.
I'm too tired. So I could just do it, in the morning. It's just going to be an hour
Still,
later.
just later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Everybody else is getting up later, so I should just be able to do that.
I know. It is. There's something about the summer that just changes everything, and it makes it harder because you're in a different rhythm, and it's just a temporary rhythm.
It is. You're right. So you don't want to get too comfortable with it.
No.
Although by the middle of summer, you're like, I got to get comfortable with this. And then you do get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm still working on that for myself. And just for my own self-care. We can move into self-care.
Yeah, this is kind of tied to self-care.
Yeah, I know. So
do you want to talk about your self-care check-in?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. So I think I need to have, I don't know if I need a plan necessarily because I don't like plans, but I need to have a vision for what I'm doing this summer to take care of myself, like physically. I love doing things. I love being active. But it's real easy to just let one day go by and then another day go by, another day. And then I'm like, I haven't done much.
Yeah.
Physically.
Totally.
So.
I know that.
That's where I need to go.
So you need a vision, but not a plan. I don't know what that means. I don't understand that.
Well, I feel like, I think I need to do, what I need to do is walk every day. I need to go for walks every day, and I don't. But I feel like as soon as I start expecting myself to go for a walk every day, then I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I also like my own personality. I prefer to do more intense things. And my body, I just can't really do those things right now. Because of just this care, chiropractic care that I'm doing for my back and neck and stuff. Like, I just have to really take it easy. So really walking is a good idea for me.
You don't want to, because it's not fun. And
I wish I could climb a mountain or something, but I can't. I just can't do that right now. So
right. So it's not even fun to go for a walk.
It's okay. I mean, when I have podcasts to listen to or an audiobook, it's good. It's good to get out. And I do need to get outside. I think anything I can do outside, I need to do outside.
Yeah.
I'm being reminded of this as we read the book, How to Raise a Wild Child.
Right.
Which we'll be doing, every other week this summer.
Yep. So next week.
So next week we'll be talking about the next, I think chapters 3 through 5. I think is it? Is that right?
Yeah.
So as I'm reading that, I'm just being reminded how just being outside is so good for you. I mean, I could read outside, and it would be better for me than being inside. So, I think, and it's true. As soon as I step outside, I feel better, almost instantly. So, I am going to work on that.
Good. Well, we'll hold you to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we'll check in next time. I mean,
definitely. Yeah, thanks.
So
okay, how
mine
about
is so similar.
Okay.
So I'm in a little bit of a busy season with Jeremy's been traveling. And when he's gone, and even when he's here, it's not necessarily when he's gone, although it's a little bit more challenging when he's gone. I feel like what I ideally need to do is go for a walk every day and read every day. I need to do both of those things. And I am only ever able to do one of those things.
Oh.
And so I always feel kind of disappointed. I feel a little disappointed at the end of the day because I either didn't get to the reading. And by getting to the reading, I guess I mean I read before bed, but it takes 5 minutes and I'm asleep. So I don't even count that.
Yeah, right.
Don't even count that. I'm talking about taking a set time separately to sit down and read.
Right.
So usually I either didn't get to that reading or I didn't get to the walking. And I'm just disappointed that I can't do it all.
Right.
Basically, I'm disappointed that I can't do it all.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right. But I do think it's good to strive for that. I think it's good to strive for, this is my goal.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do both of those things every day. I just can't achieve it. It's a rare that I can achieve it.
Yeah.
So, and I know I mentioned last time, I am doing Pilates still. That's 2 mornings a week. So
good.
That's good. I mean, that's good. But I do need the daily walk too.
Yep.
And then it just feels like, well, I'm just doing not too much, but this is taking up a lot of my time.
You're right. I know it does take up a lot of time. But then I think, I mean, if I can always just step back and look big picture at how I am changing as a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on me taking care of myself, then it's better for everyone if I just take that time.
Right.
But it's very hard to take a step back and see that every day. It just takes a lot of effort just to do that.
Right.
So
Right.
it's probably easier to take a step back and look than it is to be unhealthy, though. So that's what I want to do. I want to do that better.
Yeah. One other thing that is going well, though, this summer for me for the self-care is we're doing a CSA, which if you're not familiar with that, it's community supported agriculture. So we get a box of veggies once a week from the farm. And I can't waste food. So I've been eating them. So I've been eating so many veggies. And it's been great. Awesome. It's been great. I mean, it's work.
Does it take work to figure out what to do with them?
Yeah, it takes work. It's a commitment.
Yep.
But I purposely sign up because I know that I need it. I know that I need to eat these veggies.
Right. Yeah.
And I know I won't let them go to waste. So I do. So I do.
That is so great.
I'm feeling good about that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And let me just tell you, okay, so Sean and I were just talking we had our anniversary this week.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about, Sean likes to sit down on our anniversary and talk about, what went well this year.
Really?
And what do we need to work on? And then look to the future and what would you like to see happen this year?
That's so great.
All the stuff. So
that's awesome. Is that what you talk about when you're on your anniversary date?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
A little bit of a romance killer, but it's fine.
Yeah. I used to give him such a bad time about it. I'd be like, really, this is what we're talking about. But now, actually, I bring it up. Now I'm the one who brings it. Because I'm like, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, it's good.
So he learned this thing at, a conference when he was, or with a coach or something, when he was talking about his business. And I think it just goes really well with marriage and probably with our own self-care goals and stuff. When you're always just looking forward at what you need to do and how you need to get better, and you're always looking at your dreams or whatever, you're always going to feel like, I've never reached that. Yes. So I was thinking about that, when you're thinking, I really want to walk and read every day and I don't do it. And then you're disappointed. And I totally feel that way. Yeah. But what he has learned, and I thought this was so good, is that it's so important to look back.
Yeah.
And that's when you can feel good about yourself.
Right.
You'd be like, wow, I've really actually come a long ways here.
Yes. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great reminder.
It is good to look forward. You have to do that.
I know, but you're right. I've come so far.
Yes.
I'm taking care of myself better now than I was a year ago, and a year before that, and a year before that. So
exactly,
this is progress.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I get frustrated because I used to run a lot more, and I think, well, when I look back, I did a lot more back then.
Really?
But I also think I'm doing what's best for my body right now. I think, I think I'm getting closer to what's best for my body. I think so. That's good.
Yeah,
it's good. I can always do better though too. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to our listener question.
Yes.
And we get one similar to this a lot. So we thought it would be a good one to talk about. How much time should I be spending on book work daily for an 8 and a 6-year-old?
Oh, I know. And I think it's real easy to just say that's just different for everyone.
Yeah, it's easy to be real general about that because it is different for every child and family.
I'd almost prefer to be general because I don't want to say you have to do it this way.
Yeah, I don't want to step on anybody's toes or make them feel like they should be doing something when really it's up to you. So take that caveat. It's up to you.
Yeah. And yet I think this listener, and I think many of us, would just like some details about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just sometimes is helpful.
Right. Yeah. Because actually my first thought is, an 8 and a 6-year-old. Oh, you don't need to be doing much. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
That's not helpful because you are still doing stuff. You are still doing some stuff.
Right.
So, and you are still doing some book work, probably. Mm-hmm. You're homeschooling. So what do you think, Maren, is a reasonable amount of time?
Do I have to start this? I would say if you're not doing any book work, you're probably okay. But for me, with an 8 and I had 8 and 6-year-olds this year.
Yeah.
And so let me think. What did I do? I probably did maybe for my 8-year-olds, probably an hour of no, I don't even know if I did an hour. I think probably at the most an hour. They were sitting down at the table doing something
Okay.
per day. At the most, my 6-year-old, really nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't do any seat work really.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. We did have we did work on some phonics in a workbook, but it's just a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
15
Okay.
minutes. It's just not very much. And because so much of I feel like our education in our house is read alouds.
Mm-hmm.
We really focus on read alouds. That I do not count as book work.
Right.
Or like table work or whatever. And so great discussions.
Yeah.
That is not book work.
Right.
Telling stories or using your imagination to play and build Legos and all that kind of stuff. That is all education to me. It's not book work. So I feel like my kids are doing so much all day, but actually sitting down at a table is not very much.
Yep.
How about you?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, even for my 13 and 11-year-olds, they might do an hour a day.
Yeah.
That would be a lot in one day. If they did that, that would be a long day.
Yes.
Because the other stuff they're doing is, maybe something on the computer, like typing something. I'm trying to think. So maybe that would count. Yeah.
It's such a
It's
great
so hard.
area
It's so great to know exactly. Yeah. Or like they might be doing an app, or they might be doing something outside, or they might be listening to something. So actually sitting down and doing work is maybe an hour for them. And then my 9-year-old, I mean, he's still quite resistant to that type of work. So I think, you have to take that into account. We probably do 2 10-minute stints a day.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And he needs lots of breaks.
Yeah, lots of breaks.
So even if you're doing an hour or you're doing 2 hours or you're doing 30 minutes especially with an 8 and a 6-year-old, you're needing to get up every 10 minutes probably.
Definitely.
And take a break.
Yeah. And I only do that when they're ready to do that. I do not have such a rigid plan that I just think we have to get this stuff done today at all. So when I say at the most an hour a day, that's like if everybody's doing really great and they're into it.
Yeah.
But if they're not into it, I have to tell you, it doesn't matter how long you're at a table. Like, not much is happening.
Yeah. Right. Right. You can. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So why do it?
Right.
Like, just go play.
Yeah.
And that's when their neurons are actually like firing.
Right. Especially at that age, at 8 and 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right. Great question. If you have a question you would like us to answer, we're going to do this every other week. You can email that to us, or you can DM us on social media.
Yeah. We would love to hear.
Yep. We'll have links to that in the show notes, how you can do that.
All right. Let's move on to loving this week.
Sounds great.
Angela, what are you loving this week?
I am loving Resistbot. Have you heard of that?
No. Oh, yes. Actually, now that I think about it, yes. Everybody's talking about that. That's so great.
Have you tried it?
I haven't.
Oh, it's amazing. So it's like, I'm going to call it like a texting service.
Yeah.
Texting service.
Great.
And so it is a way to send letters, like actual letters, like an actual formal letter to your senators and representatives. And it's super easy. So I've been doing it. I've done it, this year. I think I've done it this year a bunch of times. And now I'm just committing. I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to try and do it every day.
Wow.
Because it takes 1 minute.
Is it a text? It sends a text or what
No,
does it send?
it sends a formal letter.
Really?
Via email.
Wow.
So when I did this before, which I would say maybe like 6 to 8 months ago,
yeah.
it showed me a copy of the letter. I haven't gotten that recently, a copy of the letter, but it says we are sending a formal letter. So it'll just, you text 50409, or I'm sorry, you text resist, the word resist, to 50409.
Yeah.
And then it asks your name and your zip code.
Yeah.
And then, so it knows your congresspeople right away. And then it says, we'll handle the opening, like the first and last paragraph for you. What do you want to say in the meat?
Ooh.
And then you can just write what you'd like to say. And if you don't know what to say, because it can be about any topic or any issue. And so if you aren't sure what to say, you can even copy and paste from other people who do this.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of examples out there. And then they'll say, okay, it sounds like this is what you want to say. And then it'll be like, we'll send it. Great. And then I think it emails them a letter. Or maybe, gosh, I don't even know for sure. I should have looked this up. Does it fax? It might fax a letter.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, awesome.
So it's
I'm
very
excited.
easy. And now once you start doing it, it remembers your stuff. So it doesn't ask you as many questions. I did it today. It took me less than a minute, again, to do it. And
there's really no excuse.
There's no excuse not to. I feel like I can do this every day.
Well, I just did it.
You just did it when we were talking?
I just sent resist to 50409 while you were talking.
Okay. And they probably texted you right back. You'll have to do that later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll do the rest later, but there, I'm on the right start.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
It's so easy. Okay, Maren, what are you loving this week?
All right. Well, I'm loving a podcast that maybe everybody already knows about this one. It's been around a while, but it's called The Daily.
Oh, yeah.
It's from the New York Times.
Yep.
And it's just 20 minutes of daily updates of what's going on in the world. And I just love it because sometimes I don't have time to read all the articles about everything. And it's a 20-minute little digest. And I love how they report.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. I didn't expect that you would like a news podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I don't know. I just, because isn't it like kind of, there's a lot of politics.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics, but I do feel like it's very informed and very real. I mean, it's kind of like, I was saying that I really liked the Skim too. Oh, yeah, right. Kind of like that. So, yeah, it is like that. I think it's just everybody's pretty real. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there isn't like a big slant, I don't think. Right. I do not like slanted politics. I don't like that at all. I don't like to hear one side of any story. I do not like that. So, I just like, I just feel like I'm getting a straight shot of something. So right. That's a great way to stay informed. Yeah. If you like the audio medium better. You don't have time to watch the news. I don't even want to watch the news. Yeah, that's slanted or whatever. Oh, yeah, so you don't want to do that. Totally. And like, you're right. Reading articles takes time. So this is a great way to do that. I don't do that. I feel like I should. Do you feel, I always felt like when I had little kids and before there was, before I had smartphone or whatever, I just felt like, I feel like I'm in such a bubble. Oh, yeah. I didn't know anything about anything. So, I was just trying to keep 4 kids alive pretty much for a little while when my kids were little. So I feel like this is an easy way to like just get my feet wet into what's going outside of my world. Yeah, great. It's important to do. That's great. For sure. Yeah, awesome. Right. Okay, well, thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back next week with another nature episode where we're talking about how to raise a wild child. You do not have to read the book to follow along with us. You can just listen in, but it's a good book. So I like it. Yeah. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Homeschool Unrefined, or you can go to our website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Homeschool Unrefined was created by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Thanks to Gambler's Daughter for providing the music for our show. You can find Gambler's Daughter at facebook.com/gamblersdaughtermusic.